Hi, this is James from GPX, and it's early October, and I thought I'd take this opportunity whilst I've got one to actually show you around the new 2026 GPX FSE 450R. Here it is. It's looking absolutely gorgeous, and they run really smoothly. It's got loads and loads and loads of improvements, most of them in line with the actual other models in the GPX range. But I'll go through with them just in case you haven't actually seen those other walk around videos, which we'll post on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel as well. Be sure to have a look at that YouTube channel because we collate all the videos there and they're easier to sort of navigate through to find the ones that you're interested in. Okay, let's start at the front and get it in some logical order. Road legal tyres fitted. These tyres have got some movement in them, okay, and they're road legal tyres, and they do the job. They come with tubes fitted. You've got alloy hubs, obviously disc brakes. You've got a speedo obviously round there, which is built into the caliper. There isn't actually a magnet in the disc. It's actually a it's got a sensor in the end of the speedo cable. These speedo cables are pretty cheap, and we've got loads of them. So if, for instance, so there is no magnet to look for in the disc. It just senses the position of the actual of a certain lug on the disc when it spins round. You've got Brembo style brakes and KTM pads fit. Got a rim lock fitted. These are alloy rims, obviously. You've got really good quality suspension, which has been described by some of our learned owners who've been through and had every bike in the book as being the best suspension, the best set of forks they've ever had on any bike. So that's got to be a good thing. The forks, I've had all sorts of bikes from all sorts of brands, and what these bikes do really well is not transmitting the shocks up your arms and into your shoulders. They don't do that. You can ride for hours and hours and then not feel crippled the next day. They've got so much adjustment on these forks. Down at the bottom, you've got that compression adjuster. This is on both sides, okay, so on this side and on the other side. You've got the compression adjusters down at the bottom. And at the top, you've got the rebound adjusters. Now, if I were to actually screw these two rebound adjusters fully clockwise, I'll sometimes show people this little sort of party trick to show the amount of adjustability that these forks have actually got. So if I was to screw these two adjusters on the front, one is red and one's blue, but they both do exactly the same thing. They are both rebound up at the top. If you screw them in clockwise, the forks really massively slow down on the rebound, massively. And then if you screw them all the way anti-clockwise, the thing is moving up super quick. That's the position that I like them in. I like them in fully anti-clockwise and a couple of clicks clockwise, and that's about it. I like them really fast moving so that I go over one rock or one set of roots and the forks are immediately back in position to actually to respond with the second route that's right in front of me, or the third and the fourth. So I like fast moving forks rather than, but it's up to you. But that's what I like. I haven't really played around with the actual compression adjusters down on the bottom of the forks. I have tested them and they've got a great range of adjustability. You can really stiffen the forks up so that you're not actually using much of the travel. But I tend to like my suspension quite plush because I'm 56, and you know what it's like. I like a comfortable ride, but rest assured you can stiffen these up and the bike will really take the hits. Now, WP springs fit, WP guide seals, sorry, the glide bushes fit, the slide bushes fit internally, the springs fit internally. Okay, so so we can supply all of those parts for you. The dust seals are all WP. So you're not, this isn't some sort of, whilst it's made by the factory, these forks, they are absolutely exceptional, and all of the parts are interchangeable with WP, so that's reassuring. So you've got really flexible plastics on these bikes, they're not brittle. Flexible indicators, decent handguards, very powerful LED light. which you can see here, which really brightens and shines up and lights up the lanes when you're riding them. You've got Magura style levers on the top, and Magura style master cylinders, a decent alloy throttle, single cable, that's all that's needed. And you've got a digital speedo down here with all sorts of other functions. It carries your battery strength, it carries your revs, it carries your speed obviously, and it carries whether your indicators or not. It even tells you what gear you're actually in on this model. Not all the models in the GPX range tell you what gear it's in, but this one does. So we'll turn that on and you can see it just goes through the process while the fuel pump's priming. Sets at 130, then goes back to there we are. So it's set to MPH. You can set this to kilometers per hour if you wanted to as well. Okay, so it's got, as you see, I mean, you saw me switch it on, it's got an ignition key down here. It comes with 2 keys, just for that extra bit of security when you're parking your bike up. Obviously keep an eye on your bike. But a nice little layer of security, so someone can't just get on it and scarper away, can they? It'll take them a few minutes to hotwire the thing. You've got decent weatherproof buttons here. Start and kill, and over here you've got the lights on the top, and again decent quality, weatherproof, tough switches that don't stick out, that aren't likely to get knocked off, and they're really terrific. They're really good. You've got a cable clutch which does the job perfectly. We've got different levers. These come with a black lever. We've got longer levers as well available for this bike that fit on perfectly. These are lock-on grips, okay, so there's none of that glue business. That went out in the 90s, guys, and you've got to move on. And these lock-on grips are another world away, you know, no more sort of halfway through the race or halfway through your ride, this sort of throttle grip starts turning around. None of that nonsense. These are locked on proper good. So definitely a massive step forward. I mean, we all don't like change, do we? But this is a good bit of change. That's a good bit of change. Okay, so just looking at the front, we've got obviously 2 radiators. We've got a radiator fan here on this side, which is automatic. And we've got another radiator fan on the opposite side, which is automatic. You've got an overflow bottle for the coolant. Okay, so when the bike gets to a certain temperature and wants to actually push out the coolant, it pushes it into the bottle. And there's a long straw going to the bottom of that bottle. And when the engine cools down and the coolant cools down, it sucks the coolant back into the radiator. So it's like an overflow, but instead of dumping it on the ground, it sucks it back in. Clever idea. Not all manufacturers do that, but that's a great addition. So you never get low on coolant, essentially. So looking at down at the engine, it's a 450 Zongshen engine. Zongshen make engines for Kawasaki, Yamaha. This engine is fitted in the Co 450 Rally, which did the Dakar. The engine on that one was slightly modified with a double overhead cam. This one's got a single overhead cam, which suits the type of riding. It's just slightly slower revving, so it's sort of easier for grip. And but it's a very, very reliable engine. You know, we've been selling these for a few years. We've never needed to get one of these engines apart. Yeah, the clutches work spot on them. Need a bit of running in, but after the first oil change, and the oil, then everything just settles down. You've got your oil filter down at the bottom. You've got an oil, that's a paper filter. You've got an oil screen there, which you take out and squirt out with a bit of carb cleaner and then pop it back in again. For 26, you've got this exhaust guard on here, which is a welcome addition to protect your leg from the extreme heat of the exhaust, and you've got these new blue silicone hoses which look really trick. You've also got nice looking black alloy billet foot pegs, and you've got a new brake lever as well. You've got a new shock with high and low speed compression. You've also got a rebound adjuster on the bottom. That's a completely new shock, and this bike has got loads and loads and loads of damping. So you can hit stuff on this bike, and the back end is going to soak it up. And yeah, there's no doubt about it. That is a massive, massive improvement over previous years. The amount of damping that this new shock actually provides. Again, that's all White Power based, so all the seals from White Power and the bladders fit, and Yeah, so we've already had shocks, probably about 10 shocks actually converted and lowered for people, and we just sent them to a very experienced guy that we know who does all of our shock work, and he's able to get whatever he needs for these bikes without any problem at all, for these shocks without any problem at all. So you're buying suspension which is very much white power orientated. Okay, you've got the exhaust that comes through here and is held via a couple of springs through to the silencer at the back, which is nicely etched with GPX. All new plastics on the bike, and new decals. The decals are really nicely fitted to the bike. You know, they're not hanging off, they're not curling off, they're not peeling off. Okay, got a detachable seat here, which is you can take off with just this little screw here, this little bolt I should say, and you can remove the actual seat to get underneath it. We've got other seats on their way for this bike. We've got comfort seats on their way, which will be here before Christmas, which will be at a low cost. But the seats that's fitted is really good. There we are. And we've got decent disc brakes on the front, which I've already mentioned. Again, Brembo style caliper on the back, with stainless steel discs, a decent braided hose, just like the braided hose on the front. Okay, along with a speedo cable here. Alright, you've got a removable baffle if you want to take it out. We got loads of these baffles just in case you're screwed, you know, you lose it, or you, I don't know. Road legal back tyre again, alloy hubs, alloy rims, alloy sprocket. Oh yeah, you've got the lowering. This is something that GPX does that nobody else does. We've got the lowering system for lowering the seat height of the bike. If you want to lower the seat height of the bike, you take that bolt out and you lower the back end of the bike so that that hole lines up with this piece of this triangle piece of linkage. Pop the bolt through in and you've dropped the actual seat height down significantly. We've also got shorter shocks for this bike as well, so if you want to do that you can do as well. We can get the actual seat height down to in the region of about sort of 840, around that. Yeah, 840, 850. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who won't need that, but with the shorter shock, which is a free option when you buy a GPX with linkage, that is something we can do. Or indeed, we can just actually undo the preload on that and let it up a bit, or you can just use this second hole. So there are loads of options to get the seat height where you want. And also we've got bar risers, alloy bar risers, if you want, that drop the actual front of the bike down, if you want to do that. Most people won't want to, but some people will want to. So that option's there if you haven't got yet the height. It's all LED lights. These are all LEDs. That's LEDs. Rear reflector, large number plate holder for legality. But there is also, this is also detachable. This piece is detachable, which is a great idea. So you just unscrew that. There's a couple of other bolts up here, and that gets removed. And then there'll be certain boys out there who don't want this on, you see. They just want this small tailpiece on where they can fit their their number plate there. So that option is there for you if you want that. Okay, going back to the engine, because I don't think I spent much time on it. It's 6-speed. It takes 1.8 litres of oil, which is a lot of oil. And that means that the service intervals on this bike are reduced over a lot of other bikes. For instance, on a KTM, you have to dump the oil out of your 4-stroke every 10 hours. So that can be, if you're realistically doing it, that's like 2 rides and you've got to dump your oil and change your filter. But this bike, the factory is stating that you've got to change your oil every 3,000 miles, and you check your valves, which are adjustable, by every 5,000 miles. So they're the service intervals for this bike. It runs best on premium fuel, premium unleaded. It's got a 1.8 litre tank, and it should be good for. I haven't had any customers come back that I can recall and actually tell me, but I'd certainly be surprised if it does less than sort of 80 miles on, or 70 miles on a tank. Some of our other models do 138 on the tank. So the fact that it's fuel injected and the fact that it's a 4-stroke means that the actual economy is very good on this bike. As I say, alloy radiators. There you've got your injector, and you've got your throttle positioning sensor up there, and your 2 fans. Really nicely put together. You've got a sump shield on here. We've also got longer sump shields as well, which extend towards the linkage to provide protection there. This is a grab handle here, which is a great thing. I mean, why all bikes aren't fitted with that, I'll never know. You get your hand in there and pull the bike around. Superb, love it. Really nice finish on this bike. The bikes don't come sort of, with any imperfections. The factory that we work with is a factory that GPX has been working with since 2018. It's the only factory that GPX source their bikes from, and we talk to them every single day of the week, usually at about 3-4 in the morning. Mucks up our sleep pattern, but hey, we've got the benefit of being working for ourselves, so maybe we reward ourselves with a bit of a lie-in when we can do. But that communication at those time of the days, and that constant communication means we use message systems where we're just talking to the factory and we're getting things done, refined, changed, questions answered straight away. We have a really good relationship with the factory. They make changes for us at the drop of a hat. Sometimes they come back to us and say, well, hey, are you sure you really want to do that because of this? And we have a think about it and say, well, no, you're right, actually. Because, they're intelligent guys, and, they know what they do. And they know they built these bikes. They built these bikes for us. And, all the fittings are on them are really nice. They're all in this style. All of the fittings. I've got the... the 10mm, 8mm, and they've got the Torx setting, the Torx tool insert in the centre, just like KTM. All right, 6-speed, wet clutch, obviously, counterbalanced engine, minimal vibration. All right, so it's got a counterbalancer in there which offsets the actual weight of the piston going up and down. Let's just go around the other side of the bike. I apologise for waffling so much, but I've always liked detail when I've been looking at bikes, and just being told that a bike's got disc front and rear brakes has never been enough for me, so I'm sort of passing that on to you. It's got this bag here with all the electrics inside, all the bits and pieces and connectors that sit behind here. It's got an alloy gas cap with a little breather valve in there. Looking down over this side, you've got your fuel pump and just the pipe leading to the injector, and that's obviously the power for your fuel pump. We'd zip tie that out of the way just there. Cable clutch, sprockets. We've got different size sprockets, front sprockets for these bikes as well. They do 95 miles an hour, these bikes. So, if you want to actually gear it down and put a 12, it comes with a 13 tooth on the front. If you want to gear it down and stick a 12 tooth on the front, our sprockets are only 1550, and you can gear it down. It's much better in the woods, much better on the lanes. You can do that. Or if you want to do commuting over it, if you need to ride maybe for an hour just to get to the lanes, then leave it as it is. Or you're still going to get 70 miles an hour even with the gearing sort of with a 12 on the front. So there we are. So loads of gearing options for you there. And again, KTM sprocket fits on the back. The stand is alloy, as you would expect, with a double spring. This is all top quality stuff. They're nicely finished, they're beautifully finished. We don't see these bikes rusting. The quality is very, very good. Anything that we want doing, that we insist on, anything that we have any worries to, we communicate this to factory and sort it out. These bikes have been around since 2018, been in the UK since 2022, and we're really, really, really pleased with them, and the factory have done an absolute spot-on job. Now you've got the air filter here, and again, this just pulls off. Okay, pulls off to a regular air filter in there that is purchasable from eBay and everywhere, so you can come to us and buy your air filters, and we'd appreciate it if you did. But if you don't want it, then you can go onto eBay and buy your air filters on there as well. Nice alloy swinging arm. Okay, this is a really big improvement for 2026. Is this sturdy chain guard? Now the chain guide is really, I mean, look at it. I'm yanking on the thing and it ain't moving. It's not moving. That is a real sturdy chain guard. And if you are, let's say, railing it into ruts, and that chain guide moved, for instance, and if it was flexible, it moved over, you could have a chain derailment. But massive improvement over last year. You got the tie back here, which has knotted itself up. Yeah, there we are. For the stand, let's have a look underneath here. Okay. This rear end of the bike here is all plastic subframe. Okay, so it's all plastic subframe at the back. So you've got the steel frame, and then you've got the plastic subframe from basically there all the way back. Now I know Husqvarna have got a composite subframe or plastic subframe or whatever you want to call it, and I know that people have smashed those up, and it's been something like, I mean, I don't know if it's £290 or £390, but it's a lot of money. But these subframes come in two pieces, and I think there's an insert here for the battery box as well. And I think these are about 35 quid each side. So even if you did have that mental loop out, which you will probably never have, that mental loop out, and everything goes drastically wrong and you end up smashing the bike and it rolls down some hill about 30 times, then it's not going to break the bank, because all of our parts are well priced. You can go to our online shop on gpxmotouk.com and see all of the parts stacked up there to get an eye on the prices. But we get regular comments from people saying how our prices are so good, and they are good because we keep our prices down behind the scenes, we keep our overheads down, we don't have race teams out there riding the world championships, we don't have a large headquarters with 40 staff, and with a fleet of Mercedes is stacked up, and that all costs a lot of money, and guess who's got to pay for it? Customers who buy the bike. So it's for that and that is for that reason that the GPX prices are cheaper. And one of the other reasons, I'll tell you, to be honest with you, is the fact that I was born in '69, and I'm just astounded at the price of everything these days. I'm sure everyone my age is. You just can't get over how everything's got all the chocolate's got smaller, but it's quadrupled the price, and you can't even buy a Mars bar for less than £1. And that I just can't get my head around that. So I've got the pricing. We've priced this bike at where my head is, where I feel comfortable, what I would pay for this bike, what I feel comfortable at. And I guarantee you one thing: if another importer had these bikes, they would whack on another 1.5k for sure on any of the GPX models. That's for sure, because a lot of importers, they don't worry about what they can actually what they can buy the bike for, and the amount of margin they get. They try and get as much as they can, but we don't do that, because we want to bring affordability, and this is genuine. This isn't just me talking rubbish. It's part of my ethos. This is part of what GPX is all about. It's all about sort of bringing quality bikes, but without all of the baggage that comes with an expensive team. It's all got to be paid for, hasn't it? So these bikes are, they're really good, and we're really pleased with them. Anyway, let me just start this bike up. So there you have it, the 2026 GPX 450 RFSE, priced at 5750, and that's on the road with no extra charges. And you can get insurance at Carol Nash Motorcycle News Insurance, compare the Meerkat, compare the Market, or whatever it's called. So there we are. We're always at the end of the phone if you want to have a chat. We encourage people to contact our dealers and do everything through them. We don't sell direct here from GPX unless we do get involved when people are nowhere near a dealer, and but even then we always place the actual purchase with a dealer, because we support our dealers wherever they are. We don't sell bikes direct. All right, so there we are. If you've got any queries, you can give us a ring. Our number's all over our website and everywhere. We're very accessible. You can send us a WhatsApp. And I hope you've enjoyed this walk around video, and I apologise for waffling on so much.